Welcome classic rock fans to a short and impromptu video where we discuss the hoped for and anticipated releases of 2022. To lay my cards on the table, the re-releases I'm looking forward to most next year is the reissue of Jethro Tull's Broadsword and the Beast. I mean, these Tull reissues are just fantastic, and the reason they're fantastic is because Ian Anderson is fully invested in them. It's just the quality, the price, and what's included in these sets. They're just unbeatable as far as I'm concerned. Of course, we had the Benefit album this year, which took the already remastered, remixed recording of from 2013, I believe, and reissued them in those lovely books that we all love so much. The other big release that I'm really looking forward to is the new Marillion album. I've got that on a pre-order, so my name should be in those the list of the faithful at the end. The special deluxe signed Dog's Bollocks version, that's the version I'm getting. So I'm really looking forward to that. The music I've heard of it so far sounds absolutely wonderful. And of course we have the promise of a Pink Floyd Animals box set that has us all salivating away like Pavlov's dog. I personally will wait and see what's going to be included. I have heard on the old rumour mill that there may well be some live stuff in there as well. But if there isn't, if it is just remixes and a 5.1 mix, then I will give it a miss, to be honest with you. I mean, Porcupine Tree, of course, they're releasing their new album in June. I shall certainly be buying that. I really enjoyed the track they've already put out. In fact, I've done a reaction to it. The card to my Porcupine Tree reaction video will be up here if you're interested. And we've got the new Tull album in January. I've already heard a couple of tracks off that, so we're kind of getting the flavour of it already. I am hoping, fingers crossed, to be able to interview Ian Anderson when that comes out, so that will be interesting. Stay tuned for that. Todd Rundgren's Space Force as well is an album that should be coming out next year. I mean, it could have come out this year due to delays, and Todd Rundgren blames the record company that are issuing it, saying that they want to issue it all at the same time, and there's a delay in getting vinyl pressed. But anyway, his new album should be coming out in 2022, and hopefully, I don't know if there are already, but if there are going to be some UK dates, I might try and catch him live. And we have a new album by Tears for Fears called Tipping Point, which comes out in February, I believe. Also, no doubt we'll get another 2 or 3 new albums from Neil Young and Crazy Horse. And Uriah Heep will have a new album out next year. I believe that they're in the studio putting the finishing touches to it as we speak. If it's anything like their last album, it's definitely going to be worth buying. I mean, their newer stuff beautifully references the classic Uriah Heep sound, as well as some great song construction and songwriting going on there as well. And Peter Gabriel has hinted at the possibility of a new record soon, so that might be interesting because he hasn't done anything. There's certainly been no original material from him for I think it's about 17 years. It's been quite a while. In terms of hope for releases, you look at albums that are celebrating anniversaries, specifically 50th anniversaries. Of course, next year sees the 50th anniversary of the Stones' Exile on Main Street. I know we've had a 40th anniversary release, but why not put it all in a brand new box and make us pay again for it? I'm hoping actually that they would do something like consider a low-key set where they just get together acoustic instruments possibly, and they play some songs from the Exile album that they don't usually play. I don't believe, I could be wrong, there's probably some Stones archivists out there which will prove me wrong, but I don't think they've ever played Sweet Black Angel. Have they ever played Ventilator Blues? There's lots of stuff, and they could really mine an album that is lost in that murky basement. Of course, we get the first Paul Simon album. It's not really the first Paul Simon album, of course. I mean, the Simon and Garfunkel albums are arguably Paul Simon albums, and of course there was the Paul Simon songbook, which came out 65, was it? Anyway, so that album would be nice to have her remastered and pieced together, and lots of live stuff all thrown in. Al Green, Let's Stay Together, his 4th album, celebrates its 50th anniversary next year. Ry Cooder's 2nd album, Into the Purple Valley, that'd be an interesting one too. Actually, I think Ry Cooder put out a couple of albums in 1972. Jackson Browne's debut album, why not see a 50th anniversary remaster, reissue, reconfiguration of that. Neil Young's Harvest, although I would want Neil Young's Harvest to be as disappointing as the recent reissue of After the Gold Rush. Nick Drake's Pink Moon is one that could be looked at, and the debut album by the Scorpions, Lonesome Crow, and they said Loathsome Crow. Lonesome Crow came out in 72 as well. Stevie Wonder's The Music of My Mind, Delaney and Bonnie, D&B Together, and The Spotlight Kid by Captain Beefheart. I mean, that might be an interesting one to do, although I think Captain Beefheart put out a couple of albums in 72 as well. And we get Shades of a Blue Orphanage's second Thin Lizzy album, and of course Deep Purple's Machine Head. I think that's about time they did a special box set reissue, 50th anniversary of that. I bet that comes out. Smoking by Humble Pie, that's their 5th album. Huge, did very well in the USA, I believe. So Humble Pie seem to be overlooked, all these remastering and repackaging. And Richard Thompson's Henry the Human Fly, that would be an interesting album to revisit. Wind of Change by Peter Frampton, his debut, and The Academy in Peril by John Cale, all great albums that could do with the archival treatment, really. See if there's any associated recordings, remaster and repackage, and lots of liner notes and essays and things like that. We get Can't Buy a Thrill by Steely Dan, the debut of the Styx album, the first Styx album, and Foxtrot, of course, for Genesis celebrates its 50th anniversary, although I don't think there'll be anything to mark that. Steve Hackett is going out on the road to play the album in its entirety, I believe, but other than that it'll just whimper away and be ignored. Nothing really happened for Nursery Crime, did it? Of course, Wishbone Ash, Argus. We get 666 by Aphrodite's Child, I wouldn't mind seeing a repackaged and reissue of that, as well as John Lennon's Sometime in New York City. Let's reissue that with all the newspaper and a nice deluxe version of loads of stuff perhaps that they didn't include in those recordings. Alice Cooper, Schools Out. I'd love to see there be a proper repackaging, remastering program with Alice Cooper. They did a special edition of $1 Billion Babies a few years ago, but these albums, I mean, there must be loads of stuff they could archive and find and reissue these in really nice sets. Considering the work that went into the original packaging of these records, it just seems a shame that they seem so overlooked. T-Rex, of course, I think they did a couple of albums that year, The Slider being one of them, the debut album by Elf, Squawk by Budgie, Joni Mitchell, For the Roses, Made in Japan by Purple. Let's have a deluxe box set of that, reproduction programs and tickets and all the recordings gathered together, even some bootleg recording stuff that's must be out there. Let's harvest all that and shove it in a huge doorstop box. And of course, Yes, Close to the Edge. It's the 50th anniversary of that seminal and I'd say incredibly important album by Yes, but like Genesis, I don't think there's going to be much to market. I'd love to see the Yes and Genesis albums get the same treatment that the Jethro Tull back catalogue gets. I mean, that would just be wonderful, but it doesn't seem to be happening. So lots of stuff coming out, and lots of potential stuff that might come out. I know I've missed loads of titles. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What are you most looking forward to, and what would you like to see re-released and repackaged for 2022? So this is the last video I should do this year. I'd like to thank you all for watching throughout 2021. I hope you will continue to do so in 2022. And I will sign off as I usually do by saying I hope you're all staying warm and safe, and more importantly that you have a happy new year.